Paul. It's just me playing with the screens, trying to see how far ahead I can get of myself. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are here for the September 2017 Worldox Virtual User Group meeting, where today we have two exciting topics. Mary Jo's going to talk about user-specific preferences, how users can set things the way they want, as opposed to the old days when the administrator had to do it on a user-by-user basis, if that was the case. And I'm going to talk about bookmarks, that really cool way to quickly get to all sorts of different things, a certain matter, certain client, certain type of document, whatever it is that you're looking for. I will now press all of the magic buttons in just the right order so that Mary Jo can talk to you about preferences in Worldox.
So the preferences that I'm going to talk about are user-specific. These are not the preferences that we will find in WD Admin that are global preferences for all users. So just want to be clear on that. The user preferences that we're looking at are when a user is logged into Worldox, underneath the Edit button, we have a Preferences option. And we're going to focus on the Worldox preferences today. So here are some of the things, and some of these may look familiar if you're an admin, that you can change on a global basis in WD Admin. But some of these, and I was going to see if I can make this just a little bit bigger there. There we go. That helps a little bit maybe for everybody looking at that tiny little screen. But we have some options in here that each user has control over. Now the confirmation dialog options is our first selection. And here we can say whether or not we want to show copy results, the delete results. There's just some little things in here that have to do with those confirmation dialogues popping up. And you'll see that if you go to save a document or move a document or any of those little boxes pop up and just say, yes, it did it, yes or no, do you want these to show? So if you look through here, there's several different ones here that you can set individually, yes or no, that you do want them to pop or not. The next section deals with copy, move, delete options. Now we don't have as many. I don't know if you also can notice if you are an admin, and if you're not an admin, you wouldn't know. But if you are, there may not be as many options underneath each of these categories as there are in WD Admin. Again, it's limited things that users can change on their own. So this is just asking if you want to go ahead and open after move or copy, yes or no, or copy, create, date, yes or no. So there's just two little options in the copy, move, delete on the user side. The email category has a few things in here as well. So you can prompt for quick profile on move or on copy. There's mark read when previewed, all kinds of different things in here having to do with email. So again, these are all controlled underneath that section. The file list options gives us all the different things for the file list. Do we want uppercase tables? Do we want the status bar? Kind of just picking out a few here and there. Do you want to have the column header size automatically? That's a big thing. You know, sometimes we don't want these little headers to go ahead and expand automatically to fit. We want to just keep them at a fixed size. So that's another thing in there that we can do. You can disable the heart icon percentage. All kinds of different things. Enable print comments. So you can look through these and find a whole bunch of different options that have to do with the file list. We have our Find Files option. So you can have your templates or default templates. This is defaulting to my last search. And again, you can set those default templates under your search as well. But this is telling you what it's set as. So that's underneath your Find Files. Open and launch. So we have our minimize Worldox on launch. Now this is a big thing. Sometimes people, if you launch Worldox and you want that to kind of just minimize down behind when you open up the program, that's what that's doing. It's putting it right down and minimizing it on launch. So you can say yes or no. You can edit the template or open single file and a link, and you can show the title bar in Adobe. So different things in there for the open launch. Profile options give you just a couple of things in there for global or child fields, things like that. Our Save As, cancel that. Our Save As options menu will give us some different things in here. If you want to have a Save As menu at all, or do you want to edit history and saved as on save, confirm quick profile, again, that's all controlled here underneath your Save As options. Sound effect options. Do you want that annoying little dinging sound going on all the time? So you can enable sound effects or you can disable them. And then the spell checker options, again, they've got some different things that they can do in here for the spell check. And again, just by clicking on these, we can just double click and say yes or no, and then it will always tell you what the default is as well. So if you want to ever change any of those things, you can change the value that way. The viewer options, this is just having double click, yes or no, or auto view on or off. And then the work zone, do you want to load the work zone? Do you want to show the results? And do you always want it on top? So again, user-specific preferences that they have control over that won't affect everybody else at the firm. And a lot of times we have this where, we set some global settings, and they're good for most people, but occasionally you've got a couple of users that want something specific. So I always would recommend checking in here first, see if there's something in here that we can do on a user level that will make that person happier with the software. Paul?
Now, one thing to consider here is that, as Mary Jo pointed out, there are more options in WD admin, and those can still be set on a user-by-user basis. So this isn't the extent of anything that can be set just for a particular user, but these are the ones that the people at Worldox decided to open up to the users themselves. Because sometimes the firm will not want users selecting certain things, so those things can be selected in WD admin, and there are more options there. That one that gets me all the time, or gets a lot of the people that I visit, is the automatically expand column headers.
Yes.
But I had this one lady, every day, at least 5 times a day, she would get her columns exactly the way she wanted them, and then they'd go back.
And she'd have to drag them again and again.
Exactly.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
There's some cool stuff in there, but poke around. Feel free to ask if you don't understand what something means. You can usually find more information about it and help here, but you can also shoot us a quick email. Now, how do we get to something over and over and over again? Well, for most people, we just do it the same way. We want to go to Purdue Law. We type Purdue Law. We go there. Maybe we want a certain matter. Okay, then we go back to favorites. And how do we get to Purdue Law again? We do the same thing. We hit direct access and type Purdue, wait for it to populate, highlight Purdue Law offices, say OK, make sure the matter's right, and go, okay? Well, there's got to be a quicker way. Well, sure there is. See this right here? That's a button, and it takes me right to Purdue Law, okay? So how did I do this? It's a bookmark. Bookmarks are found here. Now, a couple things. There's many ways to do this, so I'm going to show you some of the basics first, and then we'll expand upon that a little. So let's say that I want to create a new bookmark. The key is go there first, okay? Go there first. So let's say I want a bookmark that's going to take me to all the documents in Purdue Law that have the word pickle in them. I can't think of any reason I wouldn't want to go to all the documents in Purdue Law that specifically have the word pickle in them, so this will be a good bookmark to create. So first off, I want to go there, Purdue Law Offices, and I'm going to want to search for the word pickle. Okay, I better choose something different. I happen to know that in our mythical world for Purdue Law Offices, they are in Sylvania, Ohio. So I'm going to type Sylvania and Purdue. And so I'm just looking for any document that has the word Sylvania in it and that. I could also say I want only documents that I authored, or I could only want documents that only are a certain doc type, or were created in a certain date range, or modified in a certain date range, or any of these things. So I go there. And there are all the documents that have the word Sylvania and are for Purdue Law. And right here, bookmarks, add this list. What am I going to call it? Purdue with Sylvania. Am I going to pin it to the button bar? Yes, that's what gets it up here. In a minute, well, actually, I won't. I won't pin it because you've already seen what it looks like when it's pinned to the button bar. You've seen that other one. Is it for me or everyone? Well, this is only going to show up if I'm an admin, which I am. So if you are a Worldox administrator, you can make bookmarks for everybody, and these bookmarks will just show up instantly. If you're a user, you're probably only going to see the Only Me option anyways. Okay. So, save it. Where did it go? It didn't go to the button bar because I told it not to pin it to the button bar. Instead, it shows up right there. Any bookmark that's not pinned to the button bar will show at the bottom of the bookmarks menu option. Okay, so let's pretend I spelled Sylvania wrong in this description. How do I fix that? I go to Manage. I edit the one that I want to edit, so I'm looking for Purdue. There it is. And I edit it. And I didn't really misspell Sylvania, so we'll just make that lowercase, save it, and I have effectively changed that bookmark. Okay. I can also delete them from here, and I can add one from here, but I'll tell you right now, the most streamlined way to create a bookmark is to first go to that list and then add the list. You can do the same thing from here, but it's just kind of cumbersome. You usually are thinking about making a bookmark after you search for something, and it's like, oh, hey, I should make a bookmark for this. I just spent 2 minutes laying out this search, and I got it just the way I want, and now I can save it so I can just keep using it over and over again. Now, that's a static bookmark. Well, it's actually not. It's dynamic because it had the word Sylvania being searched for in the text. So what I mean by dynamic is this is a static right here. Well, even that's, I guess they're all dynamic. The point is, if something fits the criteria for the bookmark at the time that you search that didn't fit the criteria before, it's going to show up now when you do the bookmark. So to say add this list as being what they call it, I think is a little misleading because you're not actually adding that static list and it's always going to be that list of documents. It's going to be whatever list of documents at that time that you reinitiate or reuse this bookmark, whatever list of documents fits the criteria at that point in time. So think about that for a second. I want a list of all my letters that I prepared today or yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to start a new search, and I'm going to client letters, I guess. So we'll do it in clients, and we're looking for a certain doc type, and so we're just going to say correspondence because that's, I think, what we have. Actually, we don't even have correspondence. We just have email correspondence, and I only want those that were created between yesterday and the latest. Okay. And now when I search, I get those. And if I add this bookmark, now I didn't talk about this, but I can show the template or I can perform the search, but that's not what makes it 2 days. I'm sorry, that's not what makes it dynamic. It's just the fact that we have now put that date range in there. So if I call this and hit this same bookmark, if I hit the same bookmark next week, it's going to show me that day and the previous day. And if I hit it next month, it's going to show me that day and the previous day. It's not going to show me these emails because these emails were done this week. Okay. Now, that perform search that I kind of glossed over, let's go into Manage and pull this up. And I'm looking for email in the last 2 days. And I'm going to edit. And I'm going to say show template. Okay. Same thing, same bookmark. But before it actually shows me the results, it lets me make any changes that I might want to make. So the difference between perform search and show template is whether or not in between getting the results and clicking the button, we see this so that we can enhance the search that we've defined with the bookmark. Okay. So if you think this through, you can have bookmarks that show you certain things that you've done in the last few days. Or you could have a bookmark that takes you straight to your favorite Word documents. So let's say we wanted to get all the Word documents that I have either marked as a favorite or that I've done recently. And then I make that a bookmark. I can just call that bookmark Ooh, I'm showing you something new here too. Remember, I used bookmarks, add this list up here. I can also just right-click on the tab that has the list in it and say bookmark tab. I'm doing the same thing. And so now I can call this favorite word. And now I have a quick way to always go to my favorite Word documents. So if I'm working in Word documents and I want to see the last 10 documents that I did, I don't do a lot of work in Word documents, you can see that. I can just click favorite word, which is a little bit quicker than this and this. Not that much quicker, but every little click counts. So that, in a nutshell, is bookmarks. Bookmarks are dynamic in nature. They will always find whatever is filling those criteria at that point in time. They can either be put on the button bar or not, and if they're not on the button bar, they're here. You can get them by adding this list. So the key to a bookmark is get there first, then either add the list or simply right-click on the list itself and say Bookmark tab. Okay. And that is bookmarks. So next month at our Worldox virtual user group meeting, we will be talking about audit emails, how to be notified when something happens to a certain document. And Mary Jo's going to take that topic, and I'm going to talk about setting up email notification. One of the things that you can notify via email is auditing, but there are a couple other things too, the state of your index or things like that. So I'm going to talk about how to set up email in general so that Worldox is able to communicate with you via email about things that happen, like a document being accessed by somebody that you wanted to audit, or the indexer being down, or a bunch of other stuff. And then Mary Jo's going to show how you can take that email notification that I'm setting up and use it to do one of the things you can do with email notification, which is notify a user about audit situations happening to a specific document. Now, let's go to the website real quick. If you go to attorneycomputersystems.com, and I forgot to emphasize, it's attorneycomputersystems.com because that last S in the word systems is very important. When I go there, I get straight to the people page because I have trouble remembering people's phone numbers. So yes, this is what I look like, and yes, this is what Mary Jo looks like. At least that's her hairstyle when she had this picture taken. She does change her hair at least every 6 months. So if you're curious what somebody looks like, or more importantly, if you want to know what people's direct dial phone numbers and their email addresses are, this is the place to go. But if you click on this word videos up here, or hover over it and get the list, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It will take you to our video page that describes the 6 video categories, the 6 video titles that we have, or groups. We, of course, have our 4 live events, 3 of them being virtual user group meetings. You are currently at the Worldox virtual user group meeting. We also have virtual user group meetings for Tabs 3 and Practice Master. And we also have our live Coffee Pot webinar series, which I put on every month, inviting somebody from a company that has an add-on or an ancillary product to Practice Master or Worldox or Tabs 3, something that adds value to one of those free software packages. We also have our pre-recorded video series. Mary Jo has her eBytes video series, which is short 2, 3, 4-minute videos of really cool things that we can explain really quickly. And she records 3 of those each month, one on Worldox, one on Tabs, and one on Practice Master. And we also have our Paul and Mary Jo show, which is kind of the same thing, but I or Mary Jo will take a broader topic and dig a little deeper, spending 10 or 15 or sometimes 20 minutes going into all the intricacies of that broader topic. Now, if you want to know more about one of these titles, all you do is click More Info, and you'll be taken to a page where you get kind of the title and a brief description of what that video series is. You get to see, if it's a live event, what the next scheduled event is. And so here's our October 30th Worldox virtual user group meeting, and 2 links to register. They're identical links. It's just that this one shows the whole link while this one just shows the date and time. And as you scroll down, you'll find recorded versions of every other live event that we did in that series. So here's last month's Worldox virtual user group meeting, and here's an entry for this month, but you're listening to it right now and live if you're here on this date, and so it's currently in post-production. It'll be up in about a week or two. But literally hundreds, if not over 1,000 videos on the site, all dealing with Worldox or tabs or Practice Master, all there for you to browse through like this and just kind of, ooh, that looks interesting, let's look at that, or for you to search for something like emailing statements and get a list of all the documents that have the word email, all the videos that have the word email in the description, and finding specifically what you're looking for. So that's available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Please take advantage of it. It's there for you, and there's a lot of valuable information. So that's it for today. Everybody have a good rest of the day, good rest of the month, and we will see you in October. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.